Am I the butthole for uninviting my whole family to my wedding because of my cousin's joke? Joke is in quotes because I don't know what to call it. Something my cousin said is dividing my family. My partner, female, 22, and I, 24M, are getting married in 6 weeks. She is Eastern European and I'm from Spain, where we live. We're having a small wedding with less than 15 people invited. Just our families and one close friend. This is partially because of COVID but mostly because we prefer it that way. Last week I was spending time with my family, and my cousin, 25M, starts to talk to me about the wedding. He says congratulations, but he says it with a smile on his face and it sounds like he's taking the piss. I tell him thank you but ask what is so funny. He says to me literally, how much did she cost? Well, my jaw basically hit the floor. I asked him what is he talking about, and he makes it even worse. He says I'm thinking of getting a Slavic girl myself. I was so shocked I couldn't find any words. I just started muttering I'm leaving over and over again as I put on my shoes to leave. I don't remember any of the words he said to me after that. My family has made some distasteful jokes about my interethnic relationship before, but never jokes about sex trafficking before. When he said that, it made me furious. It didn't sound like he was joking. Even if he was, I feel that it crossed a line. I didn't know how I was going to tell my partner, but I knew that I wasn't going to allow my cousin in the same room as her anymore. After driving for 90 minutes to get home, I had enough time to think about it. I called my cousin and told him he is no longer invited to the wedding. The next day I got spammed with calls, texts, and voice messages from my parents, uncle, and sister, telling me that I'm overreacting over a joke and causing divide in the family. So I told them all that they're also uninvited. My parents are not contributing to the cost of the wedding. They gave us €1,000 for an engagement gift, but after being uninvited they demanded it back. Even though I feel that you shouldn't be allowed to take back a gift, I gave it back to avoid drama and to tell them that we don't need their money. I don't think I'm overreacting because it's not fair to my partner to have people there on her big day who think that way about her. Even though my family make up half of our total guests, I don't want anybody there who feels that way. I'm okay with having none of them there. Am I overreacting / am I the butthole? Edit. I didn't expect this to get so much feedback. Thank you for the comments. I'll try to read them all, but I mostly came for the judgments because I can't read English well. Edit 2. It looks like there is some confusion. I didn't uninvite the rest of my family just because he said the joke. I did that because they were defending the joke and saying he shouldn't lose his invite because of it. Not the butthole. They crossed a line and disrespected your wife. They don't need to be there. They didn't just disrespect his to-be wife. They disrespected original poster. It says a lot about them that they think that lowly of him. They also disrespected victims of actual human trafficking by making their situations the butt of an unfunny joke. Don't forget they were most likely being xenophobic. I was corrected as I originally said they were being racist, BC unsure of the correct term at the time, and assumed she was a slave most likely because of her ethnicity / origins. I doubt that if she was from their country that his cousin would have made that joke. And I agree, this was disrespecting to actual victims of human trafficking, which is actually still, very unfortunately, happening in today's world. Edit. Many people have also pointed out mail-order brides and how that is most likely what the cousin was talking about and that it's a consensual practice. But even if it is consensual, it's rich dudes taking advantage of a girl desperate situation and is still technically buying them. Once they go with the guy, they are completely dependent on them, and there is a lot of spousal abuse and coerced rape or rape in general because they bought the brides. It's taking advantage of someone either way, and in my opinion it doesn't make the joke any better. Also, I originally thought Slavic meant slaves since he asked how much did she cost and was unfamiliar with the stereotype about Slavic women being mail-order brides. People are assuming that the joke being about mail-order brides and it being consensual is why the family thinks original poster is overreacting. Userfallen_*_2319 explained this on the term slave. The term slave actually originated with the term Slavic, as lower classes, serfs, were popular in European-based slave trade before the slave trade became the infamous thing we know today. Thank you everyone for enlightening me about what Slavic meant, but I still feel like the sex trafficking thing is still relevant because without further clarification from the cousin it could still be taken either way, as both involve money and buying op's wife. If original poster knows/thinks he meant mail order bride, then the facts remain that his wife still doesn't need that type of negative view/assumption about her on her wedding day. Continuation of original comment. I would literally ask op's family if they continue to say that he overreacted, that they think it's funny if cousin was to rape a girl, because that's what his joke is implying, forcing a girl to be his sex slave. And I would say his joke sounded more serious than a joke, and it's not something to joke about to begin with. Original poster. I would also send them links to articles about human sex trafficking, so they understand why that joke was so not effing funny, and reinforce that them thinking that joke is funny is disrespecting people, men, women and children, actually living that hell/being regularly tortured/raped. Disrespecting you for thinking so lowly of you. Disrespecting your wife by joking about her being a slave, most likely, again, cause of her ethnicity. Spam them all, especially cousin and your parents, those links with something like this at the end. These articles show why that joke wasn't funny at all. I recommend reading these so you can see how tasteless and insensitive it is to actual victims of humane trafficking. It was also extremely inappropriate to even joke that my wife, the woman I love and who loves me, is my slave being forced to marry me. And yes, slaves obviously don't get a choice in things, so it insinuated that I was forcing her to marry me. And also joking about me owning a slave just shows me how highly cousin thinks of me, and you all brushing off his comment makes me assume the same with you. The outright disrespect that joke put towards my wife and I, and especially the insensitivity to those who are suffering through that hell today, and you all brushing off that comment by making excuses for him, is why I uninvited you all. My wife doesn't need people who excuse someone assuming/joking that she is a slave on her wedding day, and neither do I. I hope you understand and can look at those articles. Goodbye. Good luck original poster, and good on you for sticking up for your wife, hunting down that joke and their excuses for your cousin. Also, congrats on getting married. Hope you and your wife have a great wedding even without your family there. Reddit link. So while I'm 100% on board with everything you wrote, just making sure you know Slavic is a typically white people group, as are Spaniards. Slavic of the Slavic countries, not meaning being a slave. I think this commenter meant slave in terms of the human trafficking accusation, which is a form of modern slavery. Yes, I meant this. I didn't mean it for Slavic people, but said slave is a form of human trafficking. Fun fact, the term slave actually originated with the term Slavic, as the lower classes, serfs, were popular in Europe-based slave trade before the slave trade became the infamous thing we know it as now. Also, Arabs and Turks often had slaves from those regions. Like the famous Hurrem, wife of Suleiman, was originally a Slavic slave. Agreed. After seeing so many threads where the spouse doesn't support or defend the person they are married to from being attacked or demeaned by the spouse's family, it is refreshing to see original poster take this seriously and defend his fiancée. Way to go, original poster. I suspect you will have a long, happy marriage. Not the butthole. I also fell in love with the fact that original poster disinvited everyone who tried to defend his cousin from the wedding, including his parents. Nicely done. Yay, this is a cackle maniacally as I torch all the bridges moment. Of course, I'm blessed to have an immediate family who would join me with gasoline in hand. I dated a Filipino and married a Ukrainian woman. These types of things were said to me by the European part of my family, Swiss. Racist as F. But lots of Europe is similar. Not the butthole. Your wife is about to become your most important family. Your chosen legal family. Her over everything. Hell, even if they were in a domestic partnership or dating, this would still be unacceptable. This would still be unacceptable even if they were strangers. Jokes about sex trafficking or slavery are not funny. The stereotype that Slavic women have in some parts of Europe is also disgusting. We're often fetishized for looks, also outside the EU. Just think of all the Slav PRN categories, and seen as being easy to buy. It's disgusting and perpetuates all the wrong ideas. If my partner's family thought about me this way, they wouldn't be invited either. Not the butthole. The comments your cousin and family make about her is very disrespectful. You're not overreacting at all, and if they can't see or understand that what they're saying is not okay, then they don't need to be there. If things were the other way around, I'm sure they would be upset if things like that were said to them. Super not the butthole. It may not mean much to you, but I am proud of you for standing up for yourself and your future wife this way. Anyone who thinks this is some joke does not have a real place in your life, and apparently this is not even a one-time thing, just a horrifyingly egregious example. Some soul-searching and heartfelt apologies are in order on their side. Not the butthole, but one thing I would suggest is that when family contacts you and are upset about the wedding, be 100% sure that they are upset for the reason you believe. If they are upset because you did not think it was funny your cousin joked about your wife being a whore, then cut them out. If they are mad because your cousin spun some elaborate tale about how you freaked out on him for no reason, or he lied to them about what the joke was about, then reconsider. I don't want you disinviting for grandparents, for example, because you believe they are supporting your cousin's insensitivity, when in truth they believe his lies when he told them you went about noting. Called my cousin and told him he is no longer invited to the wedding. The next day I got spammed with calls, texts, and voice messages from my parents, uncle, and sister, telling me that I'm overreacting over a joke and causing divide in the family. So I told them all that they're also uninvited. I mean, it doesn't sound to me like cousin sex trade Sammy tried to pretend he was telling the joke about the mouse and the elephant. And even if he did, that's really quite a lot of people who were quick to jump on their phones and tell off original poster without even asking what happened first. With family like that, you're better off sharing cake with the City Hall clerical staff. Not just his money, also his citizenship. Can't be Slavic and just love a Westerner. Not the butthole. They 1. Disrespected your wife. 2. Made a joke about sex trafficking. Like that's enough reasons to begin with. Mail order brides are a thing and can be done legally, yes. I'd prefer calling them arranged to a point because I don't know a proper term for it, but even if you did go the route like that and happen to meet a woman and her family did an arranged marriage, it does not mean he has any right to make those kinds of jokes. Like seriously. There's levels and lines of humor people should not cross. They crossed it. The money ain't worth the drama, and their defending him ain't worth it either. It wasn't a funny or tasteful joke, it was designed to be a shock reaction joke and possibly intended to be hurtful. Don't cave and reinvite any of those jerks. Protect your wife to be. And your marriage to be. Well, first of all, you posted here knowing that r/am I the butthole was going to say you're not the butthole. Rather than validate you though, I'll tell you the cold hard truth. You're massively overreacting to a joke and permanently damaging you and your fiancé's relationship with your entire extended family. I know you think you're standing up for her, but you're actually putting her in a very uncomfortable position by indirectly causing this rift. You've got to seriously ask yourself whether this life-changing decision is worth it over a distasteful joke. I hope you make the right choice. Reddit link. As a person whose mom was abused for years by her in-laws, Original Poster did the right thing by cutting them off. Original Poster did not permanently damage the relationship. His cousin and other extended family did by insinuating that his wife is a slave that be brought from a market. No one deserves to hear stuff like that, and if Original Poster did not take action today, the comments would have continued and the wife would have felt too guilty to do anything about it in fear that it might break the family. The extended family is not going to live with him, the wife is. Her feelings and mental safety should be his priority. Not the butthole, but how does your partner feel? My mom was really mean to my wife, so I cut her off completely. But now my wife feels bad, like she's the cause of the damaged relationship. She's not. But just make sure your partner is good with it. Despite the disrespect, she may want you to give some of them a second chance, especially those who were not directly involved. But yeah. Not the butthole, man, that's messed up. That's very thoughtful. Not the butthole. If they're not supportive of your relationship, you won't feel good having them there. It's also your wedding, and it's okay for you to not want people there who joke about you being a human trafficker. Saying that about you is terrible. You don't have to be only upset for her, you get to be upset for you too. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.